Once upon a time, in a land far away, there was a princess named Lyra. She was known throughout the kingdom for her beauty and grace. Her heart was as pure as the crystal-clear streams that flowed through the land. Lyra lived in a magnificent castle that stood tall and proud amidst lush gardens and colorful flags that fluttered in the wind. The castle was not just her home, it was a symbol of hope and prosperity for the people. Lyra was kind-hearted and generous. She often spent her days walking among the villagers, listening to their stories, and helping them with their troubles. She had a special bond with the animals, who seemed to understand her every word. Her laughter was like music, bringing joy to everyone who heard it. The garden was her favorite place, where she would spend hours enjoying the beauty of nature and the warmth of the sun. But one day, the peaceful life of the kingdom was shattered. Lyra received terrible news that made her heart sink. A fearsome dragon had been spotted near the village. The dragon was enormous, with scales as hard as steel and eyes that glowed like embers. It flew over the village, casting a dark shadow that filled the hearts of the villagers with dread. The dragon breathed fire, scorching everything in its path. The villagers ran in terror, trying to escape the fiery destruction. The once peaceful land was now a place of fear and chaos. But Lyra was not one to be easily frightened. She knew that she had to protect her people and her home. With determination in her eyes, she took up a sword and prepared to face the dragon. She was ready to do whatever it took to save her kingdom. The dragon lived on a mountain. It was high above the kingdom. Smoke came from the top. People were scared. The dragon was strong. It could hurt them. The king was worried. He loved his people. He wanted to help them. But Lyra was brave. She told her father, "The king, I will stop the dragon." The king was scared. He said, "No, Lyra, it's too dangerous." But Lyra was brave. She said, "I must help our people." Lyra put on armor. It was shiny and strong. She took her sword. She was ready to fight the dragon. Lyra was brave. She was going to save the kingdom. Lyra started her journey. She went into the woods. The woods were dark and scary, but Lyra was not scared. She had her sword. She was brave. As she walked, she heard something. A voice. It was very quiet. It said, "Psst, princess, over here." Lyra looked around. Who was talking? Section 5, A Unicorn's Blessing. Lyra looked and looked. Then she saw something amazing. It was a unicorn. It was white and sparkly. It had a horn on its head. "Hello, princess," said the unicorn. "I am here to help you." The unicorn touched Lyra with its horn. It gave her a magical blessing. Now Lyra was even stronger. Section 6, The Bird with a Song of Ice. Lyra thanked the unicorn. She continued on her journey. The air grew colder. Lyra saw a bird. It was blue and white. It sang a beautiful song. But the song was freezing. It made ice crystals in the air. "Hello, princess," sang the bird. "I am here to help you. Take my feather. It will protect you from the dragon's fire." Section 7, The Elf Who Spoke to Stones. Lyra thanked the bird. She took the feather. The bird had been her guide through the dense forest, leading her to the edge of the rocky terrain. The feather was a token of gratitude, a symbol of the bird's blessing for her journey ahead. She continued on her journey. The path became rocky. Each step was a challenge as the smooth forest floor gave way to jagged stones and uneven ground. Lyra's determination never wavered, even as the path grew more treacherous. It was hard to walk. The rocks seemed to conspire against her, shifting underfoot and causing her to stumble. But Lyra pressed on, her eyes fixed on the horizon, where she hoped to find the dragon she sought. Suddenly, Lyra saw a little man. He was an elf. His clothes were made of leaves and moss, blending perfectly with the forest. His eyes sparkled with ancient wisdom and a hint of mischief. He was talking to the rocks. Lyra watched in amazement as the elf whispered to the stones, and they seemed to respond, shifting and moving as if alive. "Hello, little elf," said Lyra. "Can you help me?" Her voice was filled with hope and curiosity. She had heard tales of elves who could communicate with nature, but she had never seen it with her own eyes. "How do I get to the dragon?" Lyra asked, her heart pounding with anticipation. The dragon was said to hold the key to her village's salvation, and she was determined to find it. "Follow me," said the elf. His voice was gentle but firm, and Lyra felt a surge of relief. She had found a guide in this strange, rocky land. He pointed to a secret path. The elf's finger traced a line through the rocks, revealing a hidden trail that Lyra had not noticed before. The rocks moved aside to let Lyra pass. It was as if the stones themselves were welcoming her, opening a way that had been hidden for centuries. Lyra stepped forward, her heart filled with wonder and gratitude. She knew that with the elf's help, she would find the dragon and bring hope back to her village. Section 8. Facing the Dragon. Lyra finally reached the dragon's lair. The dragon was huge. It roared angrily. Lyra was scared, but she remembered her friends. The unicorn's blessing made her strong. The bird's feather protected her from the fire. The dragon breathed fire, but Lyra dodged it. She fought bravely. She used her sword. The dragon was surprised. This princess was strong. Section 9. A triumphant return. Lyra fought hard. She was brave and clever. Finally, she defeated the dragon. The dragon flew away, back to its own land. Lyra had saved the kingdom. Everyone cheered for Lyra. They were so happy. They had a big party to celebrate. Lyra was a true hero. She had saved the day. Section 10. Lyra the Brave. In a land far, far away, nestled between towering mountains and lush forests, there was a grand castle. This castle was home to Princess Lyra, a young girl known for her courage and kindness. Lyra returned to the castle after a long journey. She had ventured into the unknown, faced many challenges, and emerged victorious. The castle gates opened wide to welcome her back, and the entire kingdom rejoiced at her return. Her father, the king, was very proud. He hugged her tight, his eyes filled with tears of joy. "You have made us all proud, my brave daughter," he said. Lyra was happy too. She had missed her father and the warmth of the castle. During her journey, Lyra had made new friends. She had met a wise unicorn, a cheerful bird, and a mischievous elf. These magical creatures had helped her in times of need and had become her loyal companions. The unicorn, the bird, and the elf came to the party. The castle was filled with laughter and music as everyone celebrated Lyra's bravery. The banquet hall was adorned with flowers, and the tables were laden with delicious food. Lyra knew she would always be brave. She had faced her fears and learned that true courage comes from within. She was determined to use her bravery to help others and make her kingdom a better place. She would always help her people. Lyra spent her days visiting the villages, listening to the concerns of her people, and finding ways to improve their lives. The townspeople loved her for her kindness and dedication, and she would always be friends with the magical creatures. From that day on, Lyra and her magical friends were inseparable. They spent their days exploring the kingdom, helping those in need, and sharing many adventures. Lyra was known as Lyra the Brave. Her story spread far and wide, inspiring others to be brave and kind. The kingdom flourished under her leadership, and Lyra's legacy lived on for generations to come.